Some dinosaurs were dangerous because of teeth, others were dangerous because of speed, but Therizinosaurus was dangerous for a much stranger reason. Its claws. They were enormous, curved, and unlike almost anything else in the dinosaur world. This was not a predator built like T-Rex. It was not shaped like a fast hunter. But if you got close enough for those claws to matter, you had already made a serious mistake. Because sometimes, the most dangerous animal is not the one chasing you. It is the one you should never have approached. Hello explorers, I'm Landon Brooks, and welcome back to the Dinosaur Dude. Today, we are taking a look at one of the strangest dinosaurs ever discovered, and the massive claws that made it impossible to ignore. If you enjoy cinematic dinosaur content like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, because these creatures only get more dangerous. Therizinosaurus does not look like most dinosaurs people imagine. It had a long neck, a bulky body, a small head, and arms that seemed almost too large for the rest of its frame. At first, it looks strange more than scary, but then you see the claws, and suddenly, the entire animal starts to make sense in a different way. Those arms were not small details. They were the feature that changed everything. Because this dinosaur did not need the skull of a predator to feel dangerous. It carried its warning right out in front of its body, and anything standing too close would have seen exactly why that mattered. The claws of Therizinosaurus were some of the most extreme weapon-like features in the dinosaur world. Long, curved, and impossible to miss. They may have been used for feeding, display, or defense, but their size alone made them serious. Because a claw does not need to belong to a hunting predator to be dangerous, it only needs reach. And Therizinosaurus had plenty of that. A predator trying to test this animal would have to move into the exact space where those claws mattered most. That is what makes them so threatening. They created a danger zone around an animal that did not look like a normal fighter. Therizinosaurus was probably not chasing prey like a classic meat-eating predator, and that makes it even stranger. Because this dinosaur carried terrifying claws on a body that may have used them for more than attacking. Feeding, reaching, displaying, defending. The exact purpose may be debated, but the danger of getting too close is much easier to understand. If you think this is intense, subscribe, because it only gets more dangerous from here. Because even if this animal was not hunting you down, that does not mean it was harmless. Some animals do not need to chase. They only need you to make the mistake of stepping into range. This is where Therizinosaurus becomes dangerous in a different way. It did not need to run something down across open ground. It only needed distance to disappear. Close range changes everything. A large body becomes harder to move around. Long arms become harder to avoid, and those claws become impossible to ignore. That means the real threat was not pursuit, it was proximity. Anything that moved too close had to deal with an animal that could reach farther than expected. And once those claws were between you and escape, the encounter would not feel strange anymore. It would feel like a mistake you realized too late. But Therizinosaurus was not invincible. It was not built like an apex predator. It likely did not have the crushing bite of T-Rex or the speed of a smaller hunter. Its danger depended on situation and distance. That matters because we do not need to turn it into a fantasy monster to understand why it was intimidating. Its body was unusual, but believable. Its claws were strange, but real. And its threat came from using those features in the right moment. If something stayed away, the danger was limited. But if something came too close, the entire advantage could shift very quickly. Imagine something moving toward Therizinosaurus, expecting an easier target than a predator. At first, the shape looks odd. Long neck, heavy body, small head. Then the animal turns, the arms shift, and those claws come into view. That is the moment the encounter changes. Because now the question is not whether this dinosaur looks like a hunter. The question is how close you are standing to the claws. And if the answer is too close, there may not be enough space left to fix the mistake. The threat was not speed, the threat was reach. And that is what made Therizinosaurus unforgettable. It was not the biggest predator, it was not the fastest hunter. It may not have been hunting the way people imagine at all, but those claws made it impossible to dismiss. Because strange does not mean harmless. Sometimes the most dangerous feature is not a crushing jaw or a charging body. Sometimes it is the one part of the animal that makes everything nearby feel unsafe. And for Therizinosaurus, that feature was obvious. Those claws were not just strange, they were the reason getting close was such a bad idea. And that is what set this dinosaur apart. A strange body, a small head, and claws so massive they changed the way the entire animal felt. It did not need to look like a normal predator to be dangerous. It only needed something to get close enough. If you want to see more dinosaurs like this, subscribe, because the next one might be even more surprising. In the next episode, we're looking at a dinosaur the movies got very wrong.